that may be something that can be taken up aside from this ethical principle framework. So we then had a number of case experiences of what the communities were facing, beginning with the difficulty of actually gathering information from the local development officers, beginning from the commission, DCs and magistrates, etc. Even officers don't talk to the community radio representatives, either because they are not informed that they are serving the community or that they don't have a recognition. So there was a call whether all the official functionaries serving in the region where community radios are functioning may be informed of the existence of the station officially by the ministry. So that came up as one of the recommendations. Aside from the ethical discussion, this was one point. The second thing was about understanding the community itself. Who is the community we serve? It is different in rural and urban areas, but the framework that came up and emerged was that we need to really look at communities that are otherwise not having an opportunity to have their concerns articulated. So if you have a region and like an urban area where you have a spread, you would try and make attempt to frame your station's work, focusing on including the excluded. So that really helped to structure the principle. For purposes of content, there was a big discussion about the AIR Code of Conduct and whether we could actually have all the stations have a copy of the Code of Conduct as a part of the GOPA. Because currently it is only stated, but many of the stations do not have it. Secondly, the recommendation came up that it may be suggested to all the radio stations that they actually paste the code on the broadcasting area in the studios, so that they can be constantly reviewing it, reading it, and all the staff and functionaries also know that this is the code. Because the signatures are done by somebody else and the functionaries of the radio station are somebody else. And so this awareness about the code and the practices are very much part of the learning requirement. We also talked about the need to be transparent as a community radio station. We should display our licenses in the radio station premises of photocopy. We should also display the kind of programming that we are planning. There should be fair amount of review and preview of the content by the content committee, because that is part of the mandate of the policy, that there is an engagement of the community. So if there is any dispute or any disagreement, let this committee decide whether it is a content that we agree we should air or we should not air. Or if we have had some complaint coming from a listener, how do we address that? So we thought that there is a need to define a mechanism for grievance redressal. So there should be announcements on air saying that these are the principles for which we work and this is the kind of programming that we do. If you think that we have not followed, you can come back to us. Very similar to how the television broadcasting runs this strip on their station. All the stations should air that these are the principles for which we stand. This is what we want to serve. And there was another suggestion that we could also keep a physical register in the premises of the station so people could write in their grievance. And the committee could take up these issues, review it and see what can be done to amend it. So this is a part of the self-regulation framework. Some items have come in and many of the stations said we would really like to define the way we want to address it. The mechanism could be left up to the stations how they want to address it, but some outline of the grievance redressal mechanism could be framed. We talked about some of the don'ts also, that and in the don'ts that we should be following is that we should not air any program that is derogatory to any community. Even within, if we are serving 3 communities and if one community has a cultural song, let's say a folk song that is derogatory to another community, we have to be respectful that our airwaves are reaching the other community also. So we need to build up sensitivities around that.
If I idea of sustainability. What I'll do is just speak for a minute or two, just giving a little overview of some principles that came up, and then I'll request one of our group members, Archana, to run through the recommendations in a little more detail. One idea I think that emerged after all this discussion was that we need to weigh the question of sustainability against the basic principles of autonomy and independence of the radio station, as well as the idea that radio stations are primarily accountable to their communities. Yeah, I mean, if you look at these as primary principles and then talk about sustainability, that sustainability ought to be, ought to become a concern once you weigh them against these principles. As a radio sector that's come as an alternative voiced from state and market, the idea is to see how these stations could survive and be autonomous, manage their own finances without becoming heavily dependent on either the state or the market. Right? So that was a broad idea that came out in different ways, and there are people who actually said, instead of spending all your time running around ministries in Delhi or corporate offices trying to raise funds, you are better off serving your communities and thinking of ways in which you can serve your communities better, and then sustainability will take care of itself. I mean, there are people who said this during the discussion. I mean, it's a bit of an extreme statement, but that's the spirit in which many people talked about sustainability. The issue of public funding for community radio stations came up repeatedly. Some people are still a little confused about the proposed community radio support fund or the scheme that it's now become. We can talk about it. I think Archana can mention it in her summary. So let me just leave it there and request Archana to read out the recommendations.